Well, thank you guys very much, Bruce Mouat and Grant Hardie here to talk about various things. So thanks a lot for taking a few minutes. And I guess the first thing to ask is, welcome back to another Grand Slam with crowd and excitement and I guess almost normal-ish. What do you think of coming back?
Yeah, no, we're so glad to be back in the slams with a bit of a crowd and to be able to play in front of them. It makes curling even more fun.
You know what? I want to ask about being named to the British Olympic team. I know I saw it on in social media all over the place. Congratulations on that. I do want to ask you, I was talking to Tom Brewster this morning, and your feelings, I'm going to ask both of you guys this. I believe you're going to be walking into the Olympic Games as the favorites. That's a big deal at your age. I'd like to ask, first of all, how do you feel about that, walking into an Olympic Games? As I think you'll be the favorite, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think we're obviously just taking everything in our stride at the minute. We've been together for 4 or 5 years now, and we seem to know each other pretty well now. And we've played events where we've done it for the first time, and we've come away with medals. So we're quite excited to hopefully be able to recreate that at the Olympics. But we always hear that the Olympics is like a whole different thing, that you can't really recreate that in any other environment. So we're just gonna, take it in our stride and hope to do our best when we're there.
Grant, some of the off-ice training, maybe some sports psych, some things like that. Have you guys been dealing with that or involved in that way to try to get ready for this? What Bruce just said is something maybe a little different than what you're used to walking into an Olympics, especially as, if not the favorite, certainly one of the favorites.
Yeah, exactly. I think it'd be hard to argue that Nicholas maybe isn't the favourite, going into his 3rd or maybe 4th Olympics and world champion. But for us, I know last summer we've done so much gym work to prepare for February. Sports psych's a huge thing for us, and dealing with that situation of being your first Olympics, also having Dave Murdoch as our coach. He's been there 3 times, and we'll look to him for a lot of advice on what to expect when we are there.
Let's talk about that a little bit. I was actually, like I say, talking to Tom this morning about Nicholas and having his 4th crack at it. Your first, the importance of that, because Olympics is a different bird, there's no question, and it only happens once every 4 years. So to get to be involved in 4 of them is very unusual. Maybe an advantage, maybe even a disadvantage to Nick. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's definitely an advantage because you'll know the multi-sport kind of environment where you're going to see all walks of life out there, I suppose, and you're going to have lots of different athletes there. But I guess he's also got that kind of waiting for the Olympics to come around every 4 years, and he's still trying to get to that gold medal. So, we're playing pretty well right now, and we're looking forward to getting there and then seeing what we can do when we arrive.
Yeah, you know what? I know Nick's got the bronze in his pocket. He's got a silver in his pocket, but he's missing one. It'd be pretty cool to have one of each. That's what I was kind of talking about. There's a little added pressure there, no question. Grant, I wanted to ask you about the extra rotation that you guys throw in your stones. This is for the young people that listen to the broadcast and to our Inside Curling podcast. First of all, whose idea was it? How did this start? Because it's obviously working very well, but who thought of it?
It's funny, like when we talk about it, it's something that just we developed unknowingly, and kind of the more rotation we put on, we liked the way we could handle how the stone was going down the ice. But even after coming home from the bubble, great results there, sat down with the coaches and we're like, are we putting too much on it? And we had that conversation about how much we want to put on it, different events, do we need to be putting less on it? And when we come to the slams, with the ice being so good and swinging as it is, the rotation suits us.
Okay, so let's dumb it down a little bit, because the extra rotation, you're somewhere around 4.5 to 5-ish. And once again, we're talking to the young kids here. Is it because, I'm asking straight up, if it's because of late finish and not because of somebody like Bobby who can make a rock finish a lot? But there's two. I was thinking about this last night, and this wasn't actually on my list, except I thought for it. I'm going to sleep, and of course my brain won't stop. Is it because of late finish or because it won't curl till the breaking point and easy to judge for the skipper? Grant?
For us, I think judging the sweep is easier if we all throw a positive rotation. With the rotation, we can almost hold it straighter. And
early.
Yeah, early. And with Bobby being so powerful as he is, we can hold that on where we want to hit it. So it actually almost takes the difficulty of when it's going to break and how much it's going to curl. It makes that a little bit easier, we think.
On the hits.
On the hits, yeah.
Okay, on the hits.
Yeah.
And then Bruce, on the draws. So what I see from behind, is that the release, and almost never will you yell hard early, or almost never. It would have to be a bad throw, and you guys don't. Right, I hope right. So you wait a little while. The rock tends to. It's almost look like it skids maybe a little bit for a while, but it doesn't move until a certain point. Can you talk about that a little bit? When you know it's going to move, just remember who we're trying to talk to here.
Yeah, I think the idea behind the rotation as well, it kind of, as Grant was saying, it holds straight for a bit of a longer period. So you don't hear me scream hard early to try and hold it straight, because I know that it's going to run for that kind of first 12, 18 feet. And I know that it's not going to break early, or unless something's happened in the release that's untoward. But I'm pretty confident that we're all throwing it pretty similar. And I know that the stone is going to be able to finish if we've got the outside sweeper on if it's Bobby or Hammy, because both of them are very powerful. So I think it did work for us well in the Calgary bubble because the ice suited us. It's not necessarily going to work everywhere that we're going, so that's why we've tried to have this conversation about not putting too much on it for every single ice rink that we go to, because every ice is going to be different.
Right. I don't want to get into your strategies. We don't want to get into. We're on an Olympic year, so I'm not going to dig into that. Mixed doubles, world champ. So I want to talk a little bit about the mixed doubles, and I guess probably a little bit of a general your view on how to get mixed doubles. Like, I love the game, but how do we make it bigger? How do we? Because it's top players like you that are playing, or John Morris, and you're on 4-person teams that are very successful, and then you play your 4-person and all that, and then you play mixed doubles. It's not play mixed doubles and then play the 4-person game.
Yeah. How
do we grow the mixed doubles game in your mind to be equal with the 4-person game? Because in my opinion, it deserves it. It's a wonderful sport.
Yeah, I've played it for a long time now, and I've really enjoyed it. And then I was fortunate enough to get into the team that I'm in with the boys, and then that kind of took over my probably priority. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago when the British curling kind of program decided that mixed doubles was going to be as important as the men's or women's game. And to be able to grow it, I think we do need to have dedicated mixed doubles players. Like, we're not going to always be able to play both formats. I think the schedules are just going to become too busy for everyone to be able to do that. So eventually you're going to see, or hopefully see, that we're going to have elite mixed doubles players where they're just going to concentrate completely on mixed doubles. It's obviously going to be their choice, but I think that's possibly the only way to grow it.
Yeah, because the situation now, well, look at your uniforms. You're covered in logos.
Exactly, yeah.
And as most of the top teams are. So there's a financial side of it where 4-person teams on the men's and the women's side do fairly well right now. But mixed doubles isn't known for that. So it's difficult to have the Gretzkys and the Tiger Woodses of our sport move over to mixed doubles, because financially it's just not there yet. So do you see, we've had some talks, as you know, we've had some group talks among the players trying to discover what to do about these things. I'd like to hear your thoughts on scheduling events regionally. Therefore, when you guys travel to, let's just say, to Asia, you'll play there for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you move to maybe Eastern Canada, 2 or 3 weeks. And then maybe some shoulder programming could be done with mixed doubles. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's obviously going to be hard to schedule for everyone that wants to play both formats. But as you're saying, like, the financial side to mixed doubles is not there yet. We're not getting as much sponsorship towards mixed doubles as you are towards the men's or women's game. And for people to go into the mixed doubles format, they're probably going to want to have some sort of financial security that they can potentially win some big money if they're playing those events. But I guess we're just not there yet, and it's something that we'll have to try and work on.
Yeah, well, I hope so too, because I love it. I absolutely love it. I want to talk about the three big rule, not real rule changes. That's not fair. The 3 rules they're trying out at the World Championships. No, I wish Hammy was here to ask him. The no tick zone. Grant, what do you think? No tick zone.
Probably out of the 3 changes, the one I would be most acceptable to being incorporated into the game.
So happiness out of 10 on the no tick zone. Let's start there.
Probably have 3 or 4. I'd still be against it.
Okay.
But like certainly you see a lot of people using it early on in the game these days as a kind of defensive way to make sure they score, and I think that takes away from the aggressive curling. So I'd probably prefer to see it. I still like it being used towards the end of the game. You know, you've done all the hard work to win the game. Why shouldn't you be allowed to make the tick to open up your scoring area in the last? But maybe for your first 6 or 7 ends, not having it changes the game where you're forced to play a different style.
Interesting. 4 minutes per end. For the first 5, 4 minutes, 15 seconds for the second 5, but time per end versus time per game. Now, it used to be, you're too young, but we used to actually play time, not thinking time, but actually the time the rock slid down the ice. I don't know if you ever even played it with that.
Was it like 73 minutes?
Yeah, or something.
It was
Yeah.
Crazy, yeah.
Some crazy thing. And so then the Grand Slams brought in thinking time. Well, that was ridiculed, dumb idea. It's not going to work. Forget it. Well, of course, everybody now goes, well, of course that's the right way to do it. But now we're, okay, so that evolved, and now thinking of going per end. That's a big move. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we've played it once, maybe. We played it at the World Cup, I think they did it. And I'm not sure if it benefits the game at all yet. I could see like a clear reason to do it, then I would be totally accepting of it. But I guess everyone's always a bit nervous of change, and I'm kind of on the fence with it right now that I'm not entirely sure that it's going to benefit anything, because I do feel that the time that we're giving in the kind of game that we've got right now, it's still quite a big tactical thing that we need to keep an eye on. And you're sometimes like seeing that teams only have like 2 minutes to play the last end. That's quite exciting. I think that's a great way to kind of play the game. But then I guess if we've got 4.5 minutes or 4:15 towards the end of the game, then it's going to be less rushed and maybe a bit more chilled.
Yeah, well, it's definitely, because I think it's around 5 minutes now. Like when you guys play, it's about those last couple ends. It's around 5 minutes, so it's gonna be hurrying up a bit.
Right.
So after those first 2, I imagine I know the answer to this one, but no extra ends, and there's more to it than that. I think having a clean win at 3, a draw win at 2, a draw loss at 1, and 0 if you lose the game. I imagine I'd love to hear your thoughts, because I kind of think maybe it has a little bit to do with trying to get rid of the tiebreaker messes. But no extra ends. That's a drastic change in our game.
Yeah, I think that this is the biggest change that we're going to have and see. It's potentially quite exciting to have the kind of draw shot, because it does make a quite a pressured situation for the last stone for each player to throw. But that's probably the one that I'm most excited to kind of see what happens at a World Championship with it. Not necessarily for it, but I think that it will be quite exciting to just start to see how the table fills out.
I think it's going to be really exciting too, and I have no idea if it's going to turn out to be positive or negative.
I think it's also a bit strange that you could also technically not win a game, but you could also still qualify. If you draw every game and then you win every draw shot, you get 2 points every time you win. So then you could potentially still be quite high in the table, but you've still not technically won a game. If that makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah. I'm really excited about these changes, but it's going to be really up to you guys, the players, to voice your opinion after a year or 2 of it to make sure it works or not. But
I suppose the big question mark as well is the World Championships the place to be trialing them?
Yeah, well, maybe this year, because sometimes in Olympic years, the top teams from countries aren't even there.
Yeah.
Because
we had that in our first World Championships. A lot of the Olympic teams weren't at the Worlds.
Well, they're tired.
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't been through this yet. We didn't win a game in 1993 after my first Olympics, because I'd lost 60 pounds and I was just a mess. So anyway, not to put that into your mind. Anyway, thank you very much, you guys, for stopping in, and appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.